and unedited conversations with real people so that you can make up your own mind. We're about to go live. Details are in the stream. Please hit that like button. It helps the algorithm, and share the link with your friends. Join us in the studio green room at chat.votermeetups.com. If you want to see more, hit subscribe and remember YouTube's bell icon. If you see value in what we do and you'd like to get involved, help out and return the value, come visit us at tvlove.org. That's tvlove.org. You are now watching WYSIWYG TV.
What's going on, everybody? How you doing? Just getting settled in here. Welcome, welcome. Trying to get chat on here and doing all that stuff that has to happen. Give me just 1 second here. Why is it making me sign in again? Very strange. It didn't do anything. All right, getting this pulled up here. Just taking me a second getting through the dashboard. Let's see, make sure we're up and live yet. Got a little panel going on. There they are. Look at all those faces I recognize. Let me pop this out. Okay. Come on. There it is. Sometimes that window does not want to get out of full screen. All right. What's going on, Gra? We got everybody here. 1, 2. We got audio. Should have audio, but not hearing myself. Why is that? Okay, there we go. Now I know we're working. Welcome. Who's been watching JFK? Holy shit. I don't know what to say about these Democrats, man. They're just out of their minds. Absolutely out of their minds. It is a beautiful day on the East Coast. A little windy where I'm at. Extremely windy, in fact. I don't mind that idea, actually. Let them have it. I don't know. Somebody floated the idea of taking Baja California away, making it California again. That was pretty good. I've never been to Baja. I've heard good things about it. I've also heard it's one of the safest places in Mexico. But they talked all over him. Yeah, they did. Like, I don't know. Have any of you heard Scott Adams had the same problem with his voice? And he talks about how it's the claim is it's uncurable. Well, Scott Adams was cured of it, but he uses a technique where he actually talks through his nose, which is making my nose itch. But who's Kimberly? I don't know, CNA Productions. Who are we talking about? Kimberly. They were really rude. I see you, Kimberly. Doxing Grandma says, I see you, Kimberly. Oh, there's Kimberly. But, were incorrigible. The Democrats. Liz Warren, man, she lost her shit when he said to her, well, you're stopping me from suing Big Pharma. And she really, that triggered her a little bit. Yeah, that's I literally just got done watching. I was a little bit behind. What's up, Tony? I was a little bit behind on it, but yeah. And then the interesting thing that I found was the they rescinded the claim. Was I was watching God, what the hell's his name? The guy that rebroadcasts all this stuff. Where'd it go? They I retweeted it or reposted it on X from the press secretary saying they did not that's funny, literally do not know how to use X. How do I get to my stuff? I guess that's, I have no idea how to use X on a browser. I do so much on my phone. It's ridiculous. How do you like that new White House press secretary? She was a firecracker yesterday. I just watched where the women of the View said she was only hired because she was pretty. I think she was pretty damn awesome yesterday. You might want to give your ex back. The last response. Which reminds me, turn that off. Where did that shortcut go? I don't know. I forget certain things. But I got too many chats going. I thought she was pretty smart. I thought she handled the mainstream press pretty well because it had to be the guy, what's his name, from MSNBC, I think it is, that wanted to make sure she was not going to lie to the public. Which I don't know that he would have ever asked the previous press secretary that same question. But she threw it right back at him and said, yeah, absolutely. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to be straightforward with you. And I expect you're going to do the same thing. And I'm going to hold you to the same expectation. And yeah, it was Peter from NBC. He's a real piece of work, that one. Jim Acosta quit. That was interesting. I think Jim Acosta was fired, personally. When they moved into midnight, that seemed, like they were done with him. But midnight is what, 9 o'clock on the West Coast? So, is Atlanta? Yeah, Atlanta's still East Coast time zone. Eastern. Purple Viking. That's a little rough. That's a little rough. I'll tell you, the last press secretary had a lot more difficulty in doing her job, dealing with Biden and covering for him. Definitely. AMC Kingdom, how are you? I did get your email. I did not respond back to you, but yeah, we're not going to do that just for fun. Sorry. Love you. Glad you're here. Are we going to the White House? No, we are not going to the White House. I am not interested in that. Leave that to the professionals, I say. Leave that to professionals. Eyes did slip off that woman very easily. But the one thing I got to give her credit for, and I sort of enjoyed the moments with Peter Doocy. And anybody know where Peter is? He's not in the White House. He was not in that press briefing yesterday. And I'm curious if he's got a new post or what's going on. What's up, Grace? That's the question. I looked for him and I did not see him. The woman in white sitting next to Peter, the NBC guy, she was from Fox. So you know what? AMC, I think there's going to be a time where you'll want to go back to DC. I think, I think they're going to clean up the city there. I think they're going to get it straightened out. Well, he was with Trump. What was it? The first day after the inauguration, right? He was definitely in the White House. He was in the Oval Office because they had an interesting back and forth, and Peter was asking the president questions when he was signing the executive orders. And so he's definitely there, or is there. Maybe, he was out for the day. Maybe he had the day off, bad day for a day off, first press conference, but he is a great reporter, that's for sure. He asks the tough questions, and he does it in a way that, it's like Opie Taylor asking you questions. How do you, He's around like outside the White House? Okay. Just watching the chat here. So we've had a lot happen since our live stream on Monday. We had a little bit of this. There was a lot of that, actually. We got a really good night's sleep. Great night's sleep. It's a weird flutter. Oh, that's what I forgot to do. Throw this up there. Okay. Put this up in case. Hey, anybody wants to join me, you're more than welcome to. Actually, I don't want to do that like that. We'll put that in there, but we're going to do it again. We'll do it this way. I don't know how you put a space in there or a return. You can't return. You can't hit return and get a two-spaced line for some reason. So we'll do it that way. We'll pin that. Have your voice heard. Join me. Get rid of that. Tucker snoring. No, Gra. That's not Tucker. You don't recognize that snore? Vote Trump, lose WYSIWYG. Telescope. What is WYSIWYG? So Democrats were all in an uproar, even though they were shown and told over and over again that direct assistance was not effective, right? And it was talked about in the very first press conference. No door knocker. That is Scott. Let's see. Grace recognized it. I just had to record a little bit of it. Because I'm like, I got up for work at 3 o'clock in the morning. I got the coffee maker set. So when I wake up in the morning, except for this morning, I forgot to set it last night. I forgot to do my routine last night. I was tired. I get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I grab my coffee and, fill my cup and do my thing and go sit out in the garage for about 20 minutes and wake up and Do anything. Here, telescope. Women, Infants, and Children is an American federal assistance program of the Food and Nutrition Service of the United States Department of Agriculture. Okay. And so why do you say that? Telescope. Click the link. Come join me. Come have a conversation. It'll be fun. I promise. You'll be okay. You can put that on your soundboard if you have someone on the panel that's getting boring. That's exactly what I'm doing. Is I'm hitting the button on the soundboard, and that's how it's coming up. Might have to loop it. But he was. I got up and Scott was live, which, to give him credit, it was only midnight. It was only midnight in LA, but apparently he had a tough day, and he ended up somewhere up in the mountains, which he was showing the lights, and he had started a live stream and instantly fell asleep. It was just him sitting there snoring in the chat, talking about his snoring. Well, he took it down. Because I guess he didn't want people to hear him snoring. A lot of people apparently reached out to him concerned because he had potential sleep apnea, defender of apnea. Oh, thank you, Tony. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. That is doxing grandma has zero empathy for him. Well, he did his cry stream the other day, and he quit. He decided he was done. He owns that sweet RV. Come on, Grog, give him a little credit. He has his health. Sort of. It's funny. Empathy is a sin in New America. No, it's not actually, Telescope. That's the belief of Democrats, that people don't have empathy. You use empathy as a weapon to think that people don't care. I saw a lot of that today, actually, watching the RFK. But then again, Telescope believes all the hoaxes. No American should be homeless, even him. That is true. That is true. He does have a home. He's got that van, and that's his home. So. Wait, door knocker. Is Queenie doing Ozempic? Who's the actress that is now suing because of bone deterioration? I think, if I remember correctly, was her claim. Yeah, Linda, I think people are seeing the telescopes of the world, right? That mindset. I don't think that I just know her as Pocahontas. I can't honestly remember her name. She looked and sounded miserable, as she was Elizabeth Warren, as she was carrying on, and then you got Warnock.
To Nazi death camps.
This was. Oh, check this out. How do I guess we're going to show you the whole thing here. Present screen. No. It really wants me to make Google Chrome my default browser, and I hate that. Like, no, I don't want that. Chrome tab, Windows. This one here. Make sure you guys can hear this.
Mr. Kennedy, you have compared the CDC's work to
Gra, you got
Nazi
good
death
audio?
camps. You've compared it to sexual abusers in the Catholic Church. You've also said that many of them belong, this is a direct quote, many of them belong in jail. For me, those are disturbing characterizations of the CDC workers that I know who are trying to keep the American public safe every single day. And as you are presented as the nominee for this position, I need to know, do you stand by those statements that you made in the past, or do you retract those previous statements?
Senator, I don't believe that I ever compared the CDC to Nazi death camps. I support the CDC. My job is...
So he's going to refute the mischaracterization of the comments that were made. And I don't know if this is going to be a long enough clip. We'll see.
not to dismantle or harm the CDC. My job is to empower the scientists if I'm privileged to be confirmed.
So you retract those statements?
I'm not retracting it. I never said it.
Well, actually, I have a transcript.
Of me saying that it's a Nazi death camp?
Let me read your words. It says that the institution CDC and the vaccine program, is your description of their work, is more important than the children that it's supposed to protect. And you know, it's the same reason we had a pedophile scandal in the Catholic Church. It's because people were able to convince themselves.
How many of you, like, a raise of hands, how many of you understood what actually just happened there? And Warnock discredits himself. Wizzy, would you defend the portals of billing of freezes that affect the billing of 72 million Americans on that have received Medicare and Medicaid? Yeah, they look, you're trying to make something of something that doesn't exist. We can literally go to the portals and see. Hey, Telescope, what is the website that you use for Medicare and Medicaid? I know you can't post the link, but tell me what, because I've found zero evidence of that whatsoever. It does exist. What does exist? The video? Yeah, there's a link right here to it. Community note that claims RFK, quote, did not compare the CDC to death camps is verifiably wrong. RFK Jr. did just that when he attacked the institution overseeing the vaccination program in the United States. They were overseeing the vaccination program. Now, earlier, who was it? One of them, it was about RFK and the vaccine, and he went after them about 6 and under was what he was talking about. And, you know, again, they sort of half-truthed their way through it, which is interesting. But so Warnock is actually saying where this came from, and he's comparing what they did, and then he even says it himself. And I wonder if he,
the institution of the church was more important than these little boys and girls.
The institution of the church, the institution of the CDC, as the comparison is what's being made.
Who were being raped. That's pretty provocative language. You said in another statement to me, this is like...
He never says where this is from, which I also found really interesting. He leaves out a lot of information.
But to me, this is like Nazi death camps. I mean, what happens to happen to these kids?
How long ago was that? 2013. 2013 this was said. And let's see. Oh, well, no, because they edited the speech down. This is what's known as a Rupar. Aaron Rupar is where this term comes from. Aaron Rupar is a social media person who takes selected pieces to create a narrative and leaves out the context. It's like how the Find People hoax came. That was a Rupar, right? And so this is another Rupar, it sounds like. So they do this little tagline, and then they cut
It's like
to...
Nazi death camp. I mean, what happens to these kids? One in 31 boys in this country is being, their minds are being robbed. So, and look what it does to the families. I can't tell you why somebody would do something like that. I can't tell you why ordinary Germans participating in the Holocaust. I can't tell you what was going on in their minds, what justifications they used.
Context, right? It's interesting. So, does Warnock not support children? Like, that's sort of their logic, right? Telescope. You obviously don't care about. Is Jack married to G. Abbott? I don't know. That seems like a really interesting question, though. Hollering hags. I remember you from the other night. Yesterday, it's been resolved. No, the billing issue with Trump's freezes, Telescope says, have affected the billing operations with hospitals receiving health care. I can tell you they haven't, because there's been no disruption, especially with Medicare and Medicaid. I would have heard it. I would have heard it the minute I got home, what was going on. So we'll leave it at that. Oh, Telescope. Telescope likes to push the hoaxes. I don't need any Telescope on my show. Yeah. We keep them around sometimes. Oh, Didant's here. Looks like we need more likes in here, folks. Oh, thank you. Didant, it's really sort of, when I feel the need, the urge, eat snacks and do paperwork. Certain bills are processed to insurance companies. Some establish days of the week, like they like to get. Yeah. One of the interesting things they were talking about today was the middlemen, the pharmacy. They refer to that as the PGTs or the pharmacy. Bon Michelle, how are you? God, we gotta really take care of this chat, don't we? Hollering Hags, why don't you click the link? You'd be fun to talk to. I'm curious about you. I know you're a big fan of Scott. Is that you, Mina? Come on out. Come on, have a conversation with me. Yeah, that's unknown. I don't know if that's been determined. She may have kicked him out. She may have. We don't know for sure. He's still up in the mountains, last I saw. I find it hard to feel bad for Scott. Hollering Hags. Let me ask you a question. You can answer in the chat here. Do you know why it's funny because Scott says I am obsessed with him. Mina is DOA's publicist. Absolutely. Hollering Hags. I like evidence, Dedant. I really do. I'm a big, I need to see for myself to believe, right? I'm skeptical no matter what. No, because she was probably blocked in everybody's, I think she was blocked in mine as well. I had to say, but everybody's been unblocked, unbanned, whatever you want to call it. When people know Scotty is an actor grifter, why are we paying attention to him or watching him or caring about what he's doing again? We don't. You were here on Monday, if I remember correctly, Brett. I know you were so busy typing, you probably didn't hear the conversation. But Scott's using lawfare against Tony because Tony lives in LA and saw what these people were doing, harassing the public and at the restaurant there, and called them out for it. And so that's that. I'm like the dad in all of this. You never give up on hoping Scott comes around. But we know it's never going to. No, I know it's never going to happen. But yeah, Scott had pulled me into this. This is I meant to play this the other day. Let's share this video file with you guys. Because this was how it started. And a lot of people have asked me, and they don't really know. But then they I'm stalking Scott, right? is what Scott likes to say. But yeah, I haven't been out on. And by the way, this is probably one of the best shots he's done. Most of the time, you're looking at the ground or who knows what. I still watch either way. Fascinated by it. Absolutely fascinated by it. It's funny because if you've paid attention to Scott at all, you know when something really interesting is happening based on the numbers that he's pulling in. Because I think people do what I do, is they see him pop up live. You're curious, is he in a place where he's going to get himself arrested? Is he just driving around? Most of the time when he's driving around, people just bail out. So he'll have a couple hundred people watching. But then if there's like a number of people there, he's in the middle of something where potentially he's going to jail. Yes, I want to see him go to jail. I like when people get held accountable for their actions. So there's that. There is definitely that correlation between the number of viewers and the potential for going to jail. It's the higher that number, the higher the potential. That's what I've seen. That's what I've learned. I've watched it. But this is how it all started. This is how he drags me back in, and I'm doing this for hollering hags, right? She says, Vaughn, why don't you trust the word of a woman that went to jail for 10 years due to a man getting right? And hollering hags, that's the thing. That's where words make a difference, right? She didn't kill anybody. She went to jail for being a part of what was happening that caused that person to die, right? She's an accessory. difference. Just so we can all acknowledge that there's a difference. She didn't pull the trigger. Somebody else did, right? And I don't know the details of this, but that's the argument that's being played out. Zero Dark Tony needs to go to jail. Who's that? Purple Viking. They don't put someone in jail for false charges and no evidence. There's plenty of evidence against the claim that they've made about Tony, right? Their own live streams have been recorded. I know, Dedan. It's sort of open to adults, whether they agree or disagree. Hallery Hag says, Wizzy, apparently Riddle is going to sue you as well. Okay. I'm familiar with Riddle. I'm absolutely familiar with Riddle. So I've sent her my email address twice. She has yet to email me anything. And I have no idea what she's upset about. Literally. No idea what she's upset about. So I don't know if she doesn't like people saying that her videos are a little whacked out. Like, sell your idea a little clearer. Like Scott says, the meth videos don't work. I don't even understand what the fuck she's talking about most of the time. They're interesting, but I don't get it. She's a fake scam artist. Who's a fake scam artist? She's not wrong. She gets things right. You know, she does her thing, whatever. But, you know, again, I don't know what her claim is or what her issue is. But I'm fascinated by it. All right, Hags, I see. Government name on lawsuit against Scott. Continue to deny I am myself and not Riddle. I know that's the funny thing is, like, nobody knows who's who in the chats, right? Unless you've met them personally or talked to them. Oh, Edward Camp's here. You cop callers are hilarious. Cop callers? Edward Camp, there you are. Let's see. Oh, it was fun. I look like, what is that? Oh, I know what that is. Edward Cam. Oh, it popped up down there. It's the weirdest shit. No, it's not going to show that picture. Why didn't it shift? Oh, because it's not doing whole screen. That's why. Okay, let's go back to this. Edward Cam, you have a really funny realist God mod. But Edward, you're so much the realist God mod. You haven't God modded me. Tony says, I can make you jump whenever I want, honey. See, it didn't take Tony long to figure Brett out. It's hard to watch bad camera skills sometimes. Makes me dizzy when the camera is moved quickly. I stop watching people who are not proud enough to improve their craft. Phyllis, I appreciate you saying that, because, like, you got DOA. I think Oreo has always been the same shitty, like, I think I would say Taco Joe tried. I noticed that when I was watching Big D's live stream in DC, he was channeling his inner WYSIWYG. Good afternoon, G is me. Welcome to the shit show. Oh, let's add Brett to the stage. Come on, Brett.
Hello and good day.
Hey, what's going on, Brett?
How's it going?
Oh, it's just a marvelous day. What do you got going on?
Not too much. I got to go out this afternoon, go see about a job. Last one fell through, so hopefully this one doesn't.
I wish you luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's tough being a white guy looking for a job.
Well, race doesn't have anything to do with it, but
okay.
And I'm not looking
It makes it
for
harder.
a job per se.
You're not.
Yeah, in case you might not know, but I actually work for myself.
Oh,
so.
okay. So when you say you're out looking for a job,
yeah, when I'm going to see about a job, it's like a contract. I work for myself, so.
Yeah, okay. So you're trying to drum up some business.
Yeah, I was supposed to go. Yeah. Anyways,
Okay.
Last job I was supposed to do didn't go through, so hopefully this one will. That's all. I'm a contractor.
Yeah. All right. Price of building materials going down?
No.
Mm-mm.
No, I mean, they did for a little bit there after a lot of the mandates and restrictions and all that came back down and life was allowed to return back to somewhat normal, whatever normal was. They came down a bit, but they've definitely leveled off. And
okay. So what else is on your mind?
No, I just, Zero Dark 20 seems to think that I'm just a chatter or something like that. He clearly doesn't know who I am. Clearly people have forgotten or don't know that, like, I was Ant's first mod, and I used to talk to Ant for hours every week for weeks on end.
I can help you with this. I can actually.
I actually
for you.
I actually do have some kind of.
Tony is not part of the YouTube streets in this world that he would even know you from Adam. He just knows that there's certain people who chat in a way that just seems trolly, and you come off that way, and he sees that, and that's all that is. So
no, I know.
I wouldn't really give yourself that much credit for him not knowing who you are, because he's not in the same circle.
No, I get it. He's oblivious, doesn't care, doesn't have any reason to care. I just, he's talking down to me.
People that sort of attack everyone, and so that's what that and I'm sure I saw that in the Monday stream, and so I'm sure that's what he saw too. I'm not going to speak for Tony, but I'm just giving you a little.
No, I get that. No, I get that. And it was just a matter of, like, he treats me as some random internet chatter, not knowing anything about me, who I am. I will join panel. Like, there's talking down to me, calling names and just saying vile crap. It's, let's put it this way, Tony. With Red Squirrel, Red Captain, whatever you want to call him, the pirate.
Right? So
I was part of his channel since the very beginning. So
you were triggered very quickly, is my point. And then,
me?
So, you guys, actually, I would love to see a Zero Dark Tony Brett Boyle cage match on live stream of you guys just going back and forth. It would, it's a game you guys could play. That's all.
You're talking about verbally, right? Because
yes,
isn't he
verbal
like
cage match? The verbal cage match. So.
I was going to say, I used to get into fights for a living, and as I understand that guy's disabled. So I don't want to be doing no cage match with no disabled person.
Yeah.
But verbally, that's a whole other thing.
He's not disabled in that sense. You get that.
Okay, just really clear on that.
He's got a traumatic brain injury, right?
Well, I'm not laughing at that.
Yeah, no,
but that doesn't give me confidence either. I don't want to. Yeah,
like, it's you don't know him. He doesn't know you. You guys, you came into the chat. He was here, and you know, I'm just saying. I can see how this has happened, just from knowing you, from the mean streets of YouTube for the last couple of years. So.
See, but that's not entirely true because I actually was aware of him prior to your stream. Yeah. I actually had been kind of going at him a little bit, not so much for the ant thing. Like, fuck Scotty, okay? I've known Scotty a long time. I used to talk to him a lot. Yeah. Scotty's full of shit. Scotty is an actor and a grifter, and he just goes wherever his donors will go give him money to go cause trouble. Fuck Scotty.
Yeah.
Like, guy's ridiculous. Is that your puppy snoring?
No, that's Scott. that's actually Scott snoring from last night or the night before. Yeah. It went on for over an hour.
Oh my goodness!
I know.
That's crazy.
He took it down.
Shocking.
Yeah,
but yeah, no.
ZDT says, I don't know this fella at all. I just clap back. Yeah, you clap back. There you go. That's the term.
So yeah, no, I was aware of Tony from before, from his Red Pirate affiliation a bit or whatever, but also
really,
because I watched.
ZDT, do you know who Red Pirate is?
Yeah, he's familiar with the Pirates. He had Red Squirrel Paul in his chat for a while, and
really?
They were all supporting. Yeah,
well,
they were.
Yeah, I could see where they could show up in there because they don't like Scott at all. So
yeah. So my I was as you know, with my Palestine stance. Yeah. I was watching what was happening at Columbia and UCLA and all of that, and I watched. Streets. I watched Streets at the UCLA protest, and Streets was actually really good. Actually, not unlike what you were in Portland, Wizzy. You know, I used to quite like you back then. I thought you were a lot better.
In Portland?
Yeah, when you were out on the West Coast there or whatever. Yeah, but before you got wrapped up in all the...
Yeah, I was never in Portland, though.
When you were on the West Coast and just showing what they were doing on the streets and asking the citizens if they were okay with it. And, you know, I remember those times before all the bullshit, right?
Yeah, I see what you're
saying. But, yeah, so I was just watching Streets with the UCLA thing, and I thought Streets was very good at covering the UCLA thing. And it was actually the counter protesters, the pro-Israel side, that were actually very violent. And you know, he was calling out the police on how they were not acting.
I know. Let me pause you for a second. So you make the claim that the pro-Israel side was very violent.
Yes.
Can you also simultaneously acknowledge that the Palestinian protesters, the pro-Palestinian protesters at UCLA had taken over the campus and prevented Jewish students from going to class?
No. Number one, there's two things there.
That did happen. So I just want to make sure that, like, if we're going to acknowledge violence,
no, it's UCLA, incorrect though.
You have to acknowledge the why.
It's incorrect though. That's not an accurate statement
because it's actually documented. We watched this happen in colleges all over the United States where these pro-Palestinian student protesters took over the schools.
What you're failing to recognize and acknowledge is that there were Jewish students standing with the Palestine side. And it's been like that the whole time.
That doesn't matter because
don't say that. Well, no, that's what makes
Jewish students prevented other Jewish students from attending class. So
that's what makes it inaccurate. You're trying to say that the Palestine side prevented Jewish students, and it's not true because A, there was Jewish students that joined them, and B, those Jewish students had no problem going to class. So it's just a fact.
We saw plenty of videos where they prevented Jewish students from going to class.
Are you distinguishing between Jewish and Zionist
students that wanted to go to class that were like, no, you don't have the right to prevent me from going to class? So we have to acknowledge that what happened at UCLA was a clash between protesters, counter protesters, whatever you want to call it. But the simple fact is that there's one group of people that presented themselves to take over the college campus. And then when the students that were like, yeah, you're not going to take over our college campus, even though the college is going to allow you to do this for some reason, to vandalize the school, to...
You have it backwards.
I don't have it backwards, actually. That's exactly
what you do. No, you have it backwards because the Zionist...
I don't understand how you can...
The Zionist organizations are the ones that were preventing pro-Palestine people from being...
What describes Zionists?
Zionism is a political ideology that believes that Jews shouldn't just wait for Yahweh and God to come and collect them from exile, like their religion says. They buck the religion. They're against the Jewish religion,
it's not just that
and against Judaism.
Israeli state, just like I'm pro-American, right?
That's the point, Wizzy. Jews are exiled and forbidden a Jewish state. Zionism is extremism that goes against Judaism. That's what you're not understanding.
Yeah,
and Jewish rabbis will say that. That's not my opinion.
Yeah,
Judaism itself and Jewish rabbis have been saying that very loudly for a long time.
Your claim and what you're representing, you've already lost credit with me because I literally watched along with everybody else.
But it's true. The facts don't give a fuck about your feelings.
The fact is that if you're a Zionist, you believe in the right of Israel to exist,
which goes against Judaism.
I don't care. I don't care what you say.
So you don't care that Zionism is extremism?
That's documented anywhere. The basics. The
Jewish rabbis will tell you.
They have a
bring up my community tab.
They're Zionists.
Go bring up my community tab. I share lots of Jewish rabbis who say that very thing.
A lot of stuff, Brett, and that's why, like, I'm on a really short, like, with you, and I'm sort of just allowing this conversation to keep going, but.
No, I get it. I'm bringing you content.
When you start out defending these people taking over these spaces, they're not protesting.
It's their university.
It's not their
university to take over. Yes, it is. It's the students' university
at UCLA, right? How many students are there at UCLA? How many students protested? Such a minute amount of people protested that prevented other students who equally have the same right to be there, that they stopped. You lose me. That is not a protest. It's an occupation, right? As you'd call it, right?
It's your occupation. Words. Your words.
They occupied and prevented anyone else from utilizing the space. They occupied it. Seems accurate to me. Seems accurate to the chat.
So, okay, can I ask you a question?
And as Tommy Temper says, university is funded by government. Yes.
I'd like to ask you a question. University is paid for by freaking students that are paying admission fees to these places. I'd like to ask you a question if I could.
They all get federal money. USC is different. UCLA is a state school.
I'd like to ask you a question if I could, please.
Private school where USC is a private school.
Okay, let's change gears for just a second. I'd really like to ask you a question.
I know.
What in your mind? Hold on.
I know. Hold on. I need to go to the bathroom. I need to.
All right, I'll wait.
Too much water in my system. Trying to stay hydrated today.
Okay.
It's dry as hell here in the winter. So
run to the washroom.
We're gonna do a 10-minute break. All right.
I had a nice, easy question. But run to the washroom. I'll wait.
I know. But we're gonna take a nice 10-minute break. We're gonna sit here. What?
I'll wait.
All right. I'm gonna bring it down, and I'm gonna come down, and we're gonna take a 10-minute break. Wizzy's gonna go whiz, and I'll be back. Everybody hold tight. Tommy Temper, say something cool, and we'll put it up there. So it's terrible. That's awesome. You guys are funny. You guys are funny. I had to show some of those comments. Because, gee, I would absolutely agree with you. The problem is, technically, they're American citizens. So where are you going to deport them to, right? Lock them up permanently? Yes. But our legal system doesn't allow that, right? You still with us, Brett? I ran back up from the garage. It is bitter cold. And the wind's blowing. It blew over the garbage can. So I had to clean that up. I really just had to pee. But I got to spend a few minutes with the unicorn and hearing about what she's got going on. So that's the key. Like you gotta balance. And that's, for me, Brett, I don't know about you, but I find it difficult. And maybe it's my introvertness. You guys are funny. Oh, that's fine. Okay. Sounds good. Maybe it's the introvert in me, but like I have a hard time balancing. Like I am very I tend to focus on one thing really well. And so for me, when it comes to like spending time with her and, working, and it's those moments where like she had a minute to go down to the garage. I was down there. That's, I take those moments. So anyway, we left off.
I wanted to ask you a question.
Sure.
Just in your mind, what does protesting, mean to you, in the sense that if you can just easily ignore a protest, that's not a very good protest, right?
No.
Like you see lots of the people, you know who I'm talking about. You've had your run-ins with them as well.
Oh yeah.
That say check my audio settings. There we go. Is that better?
Yeah, it was sounding funny.
Sorry, you see these people that are like, oh, the Canadian convoy protest, they didn't do anything. There was no effect. It was completely useless and a waste of time. Just for an example, right? Yeah. However, did we not shut down an international border? Was that convoy and that protest like not literally impossible to ignore?
Yes. And you're right. So
would it not stand to reason that civil disobedience, some would say breaking the law, impeding the easy movement of other people, if you're doing that so that your protest is, you can't ignore it, isn't that actually an effective protest, one that can't be ignored?
Yes, but I would still say that there is a line, correct?
Oh, I definitely agree. Right? I don't disagree.
So do I think that? So I guess it's nuanced in the sense that I have to think back to the Canadian protest because I wasn't there.
I was.
So we're talking about Ottawa. Or are we talking about when they shut down traffic on the bridge?
I was at neither of those.
Right. But what you're referring to
They went to Ottawa. They went to Ottawa, and at the same time, they shut down the border at Alberta, between Alberta and Montana.
Oh, right.
That's where I was.
Did they prevent traffic from moving there?
Yes.
Fully?
Yes. They brought in the heavy equipment, parked it on they stopped traffic back and forth across the border.
Right.
Yes, I was there. At first they did. Then it was the police that shut down the roads.
The police shut down the roads first.
Yeah, it was definitely the protesters. The protesters brought in the equipment and shut it down.
Right. Because I've always had this issue where, one of the most, and I don't want to use the term memorable, because that I think sends the wrong signal. The one that sticks with me the most is, I think it was Portland or Seattle, where the protesters had gone down onto the highway at night and it was dark and there was a car that came through. This was in the middle of the night, that a car had managed to get through, not knowing they were on the road. And a number of people were injured, right? Now, their protest wasn't about the roads. So there is that subtle difference, if you want to say that, is the truckers, the convoy, the Canadian convoy, they wanted to stop the border because their dispute was over the border, correct?
Yeah, I mean, essentially it came down to you needed it's basically a papers, please society where you have to prove that you had a medical treatment in order to move freely, and you're being discriminated against. So it was like, well, if they can't go over, nobody can. Right.
So take that now and give me the equivalent version of taking over a school.
Sorry, correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't see them taking over a school. I just saw them taking over one space in the school, the quad or the whatever. All I was trying to get across is that with an effective protest, A, you can't just easily ignore it, and B, you're going to interfere with the free movement of some people in your civil disobedience. And that's all I was trying to get across.
Violence.
I didn't see violence. Not from the Palestine side.
I know you didn't see violence. I saw the violence, right?
Not from the Palestine side. The violent side was the other side.
Yeah. And we saw violence from all the other protests that I covered in LA that you refer to, right?
I didn't see any violence in the Palestine side, just as I didn't see any violence in the protester side where we shut down the border. No violence. Do you think
that it's
other side was violent?
Right. Do you think that just because you didn't see it, just like on January 6th, like I didn't necessarily see violence myself, so does that mean it didn't happen?
Actually, January 6th, again, the violence came from the other side first.
From the police?
Yes.
I actually agree with you, and I've seen the documentation of that. It does not condone what occurred, but yeah, I in that sense, yes, right.
So I wanted to just ask that question about what a protest is, because obviously with an effective protest, you can't ignore it, and you're going to impede and interfere a bit. That's the whole point of it. So
right. So, but we both sort of agree that when it comes to, it crosses a line at violence.
Yeah, nobody wants to see that.
Right, because then what is it?
You know what though?
What does it become?
Hold on.
It's not.
We do also have to acknowledge that there are agent provocateurs. There are paid police, whatever, that go into crowds, agents that are paid to go and turn things violent or make it look just like in Ottawa, there was a person with a Nazi flag, right? They wanted to portray as though all these people were a certain way.
Correct.
Right. I'm not sure.
They used one flag out of how many hundreds of thousands of people?
Right, but that's what was focused on, right? That's what they wanted people to think.
Right.
Same thing as
owning the media does.
Same thing with some of these agent provocateurs. It can be all good and all peaceful, but you'll have an agent provocateur do something like burn a flag, and that's what will be focused on and spread as a narrative, right? So it's just something that should be kept in mind.
Sure, absolutely. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, so I asked Google AI, right to protest. It says the right to protest is a fundamental right in many democracies, including the United States. It allows people to express their views and grievances and to hold the government accountable. What is protected by the right to protest? Freedom of speech, the right to express views through protest, including marches, demonstrations, and political protests. Freedom of assembly, the right to peacefully assemble with others. Freedom to petition, the right to ask the government to address grievances. What are the limitations on the right to protest? Police and other government officials can place restrictions on the right to protest. Some jurisdictions require permit to march in the streets. Protesters may be required to follow local traffic laws. Private property owners can set rules for speech on their property. That's interesting. What are some tips for participating in protests? We don't care. Wear a mask and practice social distancing.
I was about to ask when that was written. So,
well, this is AI generated through Google, right? And so, it's pulling from its resources.
Yeah. Well, that AI is a whole other discussion, but
right. ACLU has their.
I mean, the act of protesting literally is civil disobedience. You're not following all the laws as per written if you're participating in a protest.
The civil disobedience part of it, but I also don't think you are allowed to violate other people's civil rights while doing that. Your fellow citizens, right? Would you agree with that?
I'm just trying to think of when those rights were violated somehow, some way, to a certain degree. Like, again, to point at the convoy protest, which you supported, by the way,
yes,
interfered with people's ability to come and go across the border freely. It definitely impeded with traffic in downtown Ottawa.
Yeah, without a
right?
doubt. Without a doubt.
So, again, it's the exercising that civil disobedience that we will not comply.
Right.
Like it's,
yeah.
I laugh all the time actually with some of these because you need a permit to protest. If you go and apply for a permit to protest and all you're doing is giving the police a heads up and giving them time to how they're going to address and deal with it and put agent provocateurs in place to make the protest look bad. And if we have the right to assembly, then let's assemble. We don't have to give the police a heads up. Like, in my mind, that's how I view it anyways. If you have a right to assembly, then assemble. Like, giving the police a heads up to insert agent provocateurs is, you're shooting yourself in the foot.
Uh-huh. Do you think most people recognize that?
Recognize?
I don't.
Police not break up guy.
Well,
that's what I was talking about.
I'm not talking about what's on the screen, but what you're saying.
I was reading what was on the screen.
No, the agent provocateur. Like, do you think most people here, someone you
recognize
says 1776 was using civil disobedience. Santa got popped for it, right? Yes. Yep. They committed an act of civil disobedience where they stopped on the highway. They did leave one lane open, the far left side. So they technically just obstructed partial right of way, whatever. You can get however you want to, but these are just the facts, right? They left a lane of traffic open. They took 3 out of 4 lanes and they stopped on the highway for 30 minutes. Yes. Someone you don't know, that is exactly what they did. and and he talked about they were going to do an act of civil disobedience.
Yeah, it's civil disobedience is just part of, of protest. That's interesting what you have highlighted on screen, though.
Blocking the roads.
And it is.
Did they block the roads?
If you asked me, I don't. I probably would say no. Most people don't think of agent provocateurs when it comes to protesting or anything like that. Most
Nor
people,
would they probably recognize them at that moment.
Not even the slightest idea.
Yeah. And I would say the same thing about most people that went out to like the BLM protests that we watched. And, we could see how, they would have their peaceful protest, and then that group would leave, and then there would be another group that came in that would march and destroy and do what they did, right?
Don't forget the pallets of bricks. Pallets of bricks dropped off in the streets.
Yeah, that was
crazy.
Explainable to a certain extent.
Just crazy. Sorry, I got a message from the kiddo. I have to go deal with some stuff, but we'll talk another day. Thanks for letting me up and having a chit chat.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, talk to you soon.
All right, take it easy. Interesting. I wasn't really watching the chat too much. The article Hags was talking about did ants since they themselves can't come up with it. Doss, what are we talking about? See, here's the problem, Cam, is you don't contradict or attack what she's saying. You just attack her. And so the hyperbole, it doesn't make your case for you. If she's that wrong, it should be very easy to shred her with either evidence or some contrary point to what she's saying. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. But I came back prepared. But it was interesting, this road, because this is not something that, I haven't thought of. This is actually something I think of, something I think of. In this protest for multiple reasons, because others have brought it up and what that looks like and what protesting is. And we kind of talked about this with ZDT, with Scott out in front of the La Poubelle restaurant.
You would be so proud.
This is going back to where we were before Brett came up. This was Scott when he first showed up out in LA. This was actually a little bit after he arrived there. Doorknocker, what is G onto? Are we talking about the filled eggs that were being thrown? Because there literally was instructions on how to make my phone's ringing. I thought I shut that down. On how to make the paint filled eggs. See, that's the problem, G, is my dance card is full. My dance card is full. If anyone wants any of the lore of the SPT and aftermath protesters, I have 100 videos on my channel about it. There you go. You can go learn all about it. It's a fascinating den of drama. Fascinating den of drama. But here, watch this. Some insanity.
Let's give Wizzy. Wizzy loves cults.
Wizzy loves cults. Christopher Bra, Hollywood Dolly Grip, he loves cults. He loves you. He's never been declared.
I don't know what that means.
Never been declared.
But it does remind me of that TV show.
Come join the cult. Just got to give up your friends and family. Get free Kool-Aid.
With the little boy
You work these
who's
70 hours
a
a
deer.
week. You get a whole
Half human, half
$47.
deer.
Oh, this is the best coverage you'll get in
I
Hollywood.
can't think of the name of the show.
There's Chamber Wives. Don't worry. You thought Handmaid's Tale wasn't real. Well,
I know
you've
it's
never
part
gone
of
into the
it.
Church of Scientology. David's wife disappeared, Shelley, 15 years ago, and no one's ever seen her again. But don't worry.
But actually they have. And they confirm she's alive, and they've checked, and she doesn't, like, the fact that people think they have a right to know what you're doing or what you're up to. But even then, once they find out and they go, okay, well, they go, oh, LAPD, they're lying. LAPD's lying. Okay. The problem is this is the other big question I wonder all the time. Like, for you, if there's something you're very skeptical about, you have to have an out, right? You got to go, okay, well, if this person tells me I'm wrong, that I have to then go, okay, I'm wrong. Like what is going to be the end point at which you go, okay, I was wrong, or, you know, that's the person that tells you you're right. You're like, do you have that person? Like, Scott doesn't seem to have that person where he says he does. And I'm trying to remember, like, I remember there was somebody that he looked up to or looked to, and that might have been Direwolf. And I forget what it was, but I remember I go, oh, okay. So if they tell him, then that's where it ends. But then it seemed like, I'm trying to remember what that was. But like, I'm trying to think of, for me, like, I feel like if the unicorn was like, you know, here's why you're wrong. This is like, I'd be like, okay, like, that's somebody I trust. But it again, it depends on what we're talking about and what the example is. But like, who would Scott need to tell him that, you know, this woman's not missing? She doesn't want to be out in public. Like, if you can't say who that's going to be and then follow that and believe that. I'll put a 1 in the chat. Those were the days. That was a good time. Is there a uniform we wear in the cult? I think it's plaid. I definitely think it's plaid. It's definitely plaid. Good, evil, just a thought. Your actions make waves. Choose wisely. As cryptic as that has the, like, I think the thought that your actions, but again, like, Scott doesn't feel that way. Like, he does not recognize that his actions have repercussions. He got a taste of that a couple times. He ended up in jail for 6 days, right? Over what it turns out to be an actual thing. It had something to do with the pepper spray, right? And then the attack on the officers, that was what apparently got him, 180 days before he beat that charge. He still spent 180 days in jail. So, actions definitely have consequences. Just about everything you do has consequences. Right.
It's a handmaid's tale. They're working for us men. Men are more important than women, says Scientology. Oh, and I forgot, you can't be gay. No gays allowed. Tom Cruise doesn't like the gays. No gays.
Yeah. Scott. What was that he said? He's like, men are more important than women.
No gays allowed. Tom Cruise doesn't like.
Back for that.
Oh, and I forgot. Important than women, says Scientology. They're working for us men. Men are more important than. But don't worry, it's a handmaid's tale. They're working for us men. Men are.
The worshiping ass men? Is that what he says? I don't know how to fix this audio. It's up. He's behind the camera on the bullhorn, so it kind of blows out.
It's a handmaid's tale. They're working for us men.
They're working for us men. Okay.
Men are more important than women, says Scientology.
I've never heard that before, by the way. Never, ever heard that. I don't know why he thinks that. Why would women join Scientology if that were the case? Dedance says, Scott throwing out all those triggering phrases, hoping to agitate someone into a confrontation for content. Yeah. Trying to remember here what I didn't play during our... Oh. Remember the time Scott said he wanted to burn down Scientology? Anybody know if there's an easy way? I thought you could drop and drag files. Let me see if this works. No. Where did it go? It didn't go. Okay. Can you drop it in the present button? I see.
Direwolf's a bridge builder. I'm like fucking burning the shit. Give me gas. Give me matches.
Oh, it played it. I ruined the surprise. Ivor, I think you're a little behind in the stream. He's been gone for a little while. But yeah, I can imagine that it might have been off a little bit. Actually, you probably sent that a while ago. I just now got the notification. I don't like it when my notifications are a little behind. Let me see if I got another one here. Video file. Hang on. Okay. That one there. Here it is.
Direwolf.
So this was early on. Thank you very much, EFO. It says, keep it real, Wizzy. We do our best. But wait, JFK, I thought everybody was a Proud Boy. I'm confused now. There's fake Proud Boys? Give it back to EFO. Thank you. The chat. So this is Scott. He's sitting outside the Blue Building one day. This was early on. And I remember he had gone on with there was a claim that somebody else had said something about, taking down Scientology. And that might have been Danny or somebody that they were like, oh, no. I am not a Proud Boy. I have never joined the Proud Boys. I wholeheartedly support the Proud Boys and what it is they do. And their right as a drinking club, as they claim, and Western chauvinists. They are proud to be Americans. That's what Western chauvinism is. Get it? Has nothing to do with women. Dictionary words, JFK. And I know, JFK, that you're upset that the reason the Proud Boys exist is because no one held the black jumpsuit kids accountable. So yes, I support them and what they do. Definitely. And I have this feeling, and by the way, if you didn't watch the interview with Enrique Tarrio on Crowder's channel, you got to watch it. The most interesting thing I saw was that he talked about the 27 informants that were within the Proud Boys movement nationwide, and that not one of them was called to testify in his trial or any of their trials because they couldn't. They didn't do anything. The informants actually, in his words, prove that they had not broken the law. So that was my biggest takeaway from that interview. There was a whole lot of things in there that were really interesting about the trial and evidence discovery, as Yvonne Michelle says. But yeah, Edward Cam says, do you still need to get a PB tattoo and get arrested for violence against lefties in order to move up in the PB ranks? No, that's not a thing. Edward, you've been lied to, man. Get away from the hoaxes, Edward. You'll probably have a happier life. You'll probably be way better off. Edward, do you want to go through the hoax list? Should we do that next? Here, let's watch this. This is Scott wanting to burn down Scientology.
It's a bridge builder. I'm like, fucking burning the shit. Give me gas. Give me matches. We're going to burn this motherfucker down, and we're going to burn it down quick.
Yeah, I know he's being metaphorical. Right?
Girl. Direwolf's a bridge builder. I'm like, fucking burning the shit. Give me gas. Give me matches. We're going to burn this motherfucker down, and we're going to burn it down quick.
I don't know, Scott. I don't know that I would have been talking like that while protesting in front of that building, because I could see how they would be concerned for their safety while you're out there and want nothing to do with you. Call me crazy. Call me crazy. Just in case says, make America Antifa again. We are very much anti-fascist. 100%. But the difference is that the people who dressed in black and covered their faces and were violent and attacked people and destroyed property. They're not actually anti-fascist. They just hide behind this false they're using a word to create Gra is Antifa, always has been. They hated when I said, yeah, I'm Antifa too. But we're not them. We're not violent left-wing extremists. And there's a difference. They were cowards. They were cowards. And they got away with it, though, Phyllis, for the most part, except for the 10 in San Diego, because it was the only district. That was their big mistake, and they learned from that. Their mistake was going to a conservative area, and they learned that they were going to be held accountable. Giabit, why don't you come talk to me about that? Let's talk about extremists on all sides, because I agree with you. But I have this feeling like I know that you consider the Proud Boys as extremists. And the thing is that you're just wrong. You know, they're a defense mechanism to the violence that was occurring. Huh. All right. Fighting violence with violence. That's great. Defending yourself from a violent individual is very much necessary violence. I get that you don't believe in violence. I don't believe in violence either. But defending yourself with violence is absolutely necessary sometimes. That's why the PBs encourage political violence. See that again, like they don't encourage political violence. They're the result of political violence. And I know you don't get that, Edward. Edward, when was the first time you heard of the Proud Boys? DJT, when shows face around the Proud Boys after testifying against them? Where did I testify against them? It's just an absolute flat out lie. Find where I testified against anybody. Find where I testified. I've never been in a courtroom. I was in my first courtroom last week when I went and did jury duty for a day. But thanks, you know. Let's see. Wizzy testified against other PBs. It's just a flat out lie. I don't know why you even. 3 subscribers. Channel was created May 30th, 2023. Just some troll account. What else you got for us? Wizzy testified. It's okay. PBs that need to know are aware. Right. You think Proud Boys are that dumb, huh? I've had Proud Boys on my live stream. We've talked to a Proud Boy, right? They're not dumb people. They see through your bullshit just as quickly as everybody else does. So it's fun that you've got, you know, this fake Donald J. Trump 2024 account. But now I missed all the Cam stuff. It's still the Gavin McGinnis Proud Boys to me. I know he's gone, but I don't know how the organization has evolved since he left. What did you say before that? Like 2019? Is that when New York was? NYU? Because as far as I know, that is the very first documented evidence of the Proud Boys. That was when Gavin was attacked by left-wing political extremists, and he had his drinking buddies with him. And that would be the two Proud Boys that went to jail. I think I heard 4 years or 5 years they got for that each. But I believe that's the first time we saw or learned of the Proud Boys. And then they grew from there exponentially. Because that was the NYU event. Milo Yiannopoulos was there. You know, the Democrats, the left wing, the far left, right, at that time, had threatened to shut down this event. They don't like free speech, right? At the time, they did not like Horsemouth Milo. Yeah, you could say that. He's what he is. Kurt says, Proud Boys are good quitters. You think that has anything to do with the political lawfare that was used to shut them down? Maybe. The fact that they would get prosecuted and the left-wing violent extremists weren't getting prosecuted? Do you think maybe you'd be like, I'm fighting a battle I can't win. We gave it a shot. Quilters, not quitters. Let's see. Cat Rack says, Proud Boys declared terrorist organization. It's one group in Canada and New Zealand. Were there even Proud Boys there? Right? So you need somebody to use, right? So our politicians, right? They can't make a claim unless they've got something to use, right? So you get Justin Trudeau to call the Proud Boys a terrorist organization with, like, can anybody sort of describe or what might have been used to make that claim? Like, we know why cartels are criminal terrorist organizations, right? That's what Trump has done in the last week is finally put them on that list. JFK wants to change the subject. What is your take on Patreon friend goons? Tell me what they've done. That's my take. So the media used the Canadian government, Justin Trudeau, to claim that a group of men who definitely had an outfit, they had an outfit as equally recognizable as the Antifa terrorists that were on the streets, and shutting down free speech, constitutionally protected rights of Americans that the police did not protect, right? So there's that. And then when they're assaulted and attacked and they fight back, Trudeau doesn't deem Antifa terrorists, but they do the Proud Boys. So yeah, I need a little help because it doesn't make sense. There was nothing done. There was nothing done that warranted being called terrorists, other than the fact that you're using the political right as your whipping post when they could do that. And at the time, Trump was president, right? When they did that. See, Bob, I don't, where did you see that, Bob? Because I could see where it's a staging point, right? Edward Cam says, they named themselves after a song from an Aladdin musical. Well, it's from the Aladdin musical. You'll be proud of your boy. Yeah. Edward, have you ever listened to Gavin McInnes tell the story of how the Proud Boys became a drinking group? It's a fascinating interview. It was, who did the interview? It's old too. I can't remember who did that interview. It's Joe Rogan. I think it was Rogan. I think it was a Rogan interview, but it wasn't with McGinnis. It was with his producing partner that tells the story. That's the only Proud Boys knowledge I have is from their early years. Yeah. Gavin McInnes talks about the fact that there was, I don't know how old the kid was. He was like 21 or 22-year-old virgin that was working with him, doing technical stuff for the show that they were producing. And I don't remember how the whole story goes, but basically they created this drinking club. And then when Gavin knew that there were these threats of violence, and, you know, the left hated Gavin McInnes because he uses speech they don't like, right? He's like Howard Stern in a way, shock jock. And so they threatened to, you know, shut down the event and whatnot. And they did. They absolutely tried to do that. And they attacked him and his buddies, the Proud Boys, as they left. And yeah, that's political violence. Happened a long time ago. Started a long time ago. Stern was good 20 years ago. Not anymore. Yeah, I agree. I don't know who uses the Trump daddy thing. I think they do it just to get under your skin, Christina. It's funny because, like, I wonder if trolls don't realize they're being trolled. I guess. Sort of weird. Christina, why do you hate Trump so much? What part of America do you hate? Which of the hoaxes do you believe? American hoax. I'm trying to remember the website. Trying to find the website for you. They probably won't even let it come up in Google. Let me see if I can find it another way. So if you think calling Trump daddy is weird, you hate America. No, but who calls Trump daddy? It's literally something that is just not a thing. Do you think Elon Musk calls him daddy? I bet you do, don't you, G? Christina says, oh, you have no idea. LOL, Wizzy. I voted for Trump. I was 40 feet from him when he got shot in Butler, PA. Okay. I remember you now, Christina. So maybe I misunderstood what was going on, but do you call Trump daddy, Christina? I doubt you do. Daddy's Home by Tom McDonald. Oh, it's a reference, but it doesn't, He's also a troll artist, right? He's making a political point, trolling. Because Roseanne rapping, you get that, right? I would imagine you guys would get it. I know it's not easy. It's every time I want to say the word, I forget what the word is, the term. It's it'll come back to me. I was about to roll it off my tongue too. Bias, not conscious bias. What's going on, Anthony? Not in my world. Nobody I know would say that. They might say it to you in chat, right? But like, share me an example, some live streamer or some, social media account. Okay, whatever. It's a thing. But nobody in the real, no real people are referring to him as daddy. That's just dumb. That's like some sexual perversion thing that you and your old man use. Sassy Man says, I thought Roseanne was a disgrace when she sang the national anthem and grabbed her crotch. Yeah, it was pretty nasty. Confirmation bias. Thank you. That was me, not G. You guys are going to destroy me with this shit. Like, seriously? G is me, not G. Like, fuck, put you two in a room. Bob Cox, the left believing everything. Wizzy 1GO. Wizzy 1G0. I see, son. Hey, Tara. I posted an inauguration day Daddy's Home. Yeah, no, yes, I get that. I saw those. They're hysterical. Like, it triggered leftists hard. Like, they get triggered by an awful lot of things. The reality of it is conservatives don't talk that way. It's literally in the name conservative. In the sense of Democrats have this belief about Trump supporters. G. Abbott. Like, what's your favorite hoax? Are you Are you a find people hoax lover? Is that your go-to? You've made my point for me, G. Charlie Kirk. You watch Charlie Kirk? Yeah. To every liberal that comes up and, does the same thing, yeah. He refers to him as daddy because he is just pushing back really hard. You keep believing that, G. You don't get it. You never will. Your confirmation bias will prevent it all day long. Charlie Kirk owns G. Yes. I'm sorry, G. But all it does is make grown men look stupid. What makes grown men look stupid? Because he's your daddy? Okay, G. Oh, that's what it was. I got sidetracked. I was pulling something up here. Give me a second. I was trying to find this link, but let's go to something better because there was a robbery at the local Sheets here the other day. And I pull this up because then there was another, I don't know what's going on at Sheets here. And everybody knows what Sheets is. It's like gas station, right? They're Sheets is Sheets. See, JFK, I can't take you serious. You start out calling me names, right? How did you do financially under the Obama administration? I did just fine. Oh, Donald Trump's here. So Donald Trump, you got to show me your face backstage first before you can come up. I didn't see anything. I saw it flash, but he didn't have a camera on. But I'll add you to the stage anyway. Let's see. This will be fun. Look, it's Donald Trump, everybody, has joined us on live stream.
Good evening. How are you doing this evening? WYSIWYG. Jesus, that's a long name to say. What can I call you?
Oh, that's good. Are you using AI, voice manipulator? What are you using?
No,
That's
I'm
good.
Donald J. Trump. I'm sitting right now in the Oval Office with my good buddy Alex Jones. He's been doing a lot of creatine. Quite frankly, I don't know when he's going to stop. He does a lot of protein powder.
Yeah, okay. I get that.
Did you see the amazing, quite frankly, one of the most amazing bills I've ever passed? Put into legislation. Quite frankly, I've been drinking Hennessy. Alex Jones
you don't drink, Mr. President.
Oh, since I became
You're
president,
very
I
much
have
against
become
alcohol
a
and drugs.
big alcoholic since I became president.
Yeah.
The last week has been wild, I'll tell you that. Listen, my good...
Okay, so Mr. Trump, the character playing Mr. Trump. If you want to have a serious conversation, I'll do that. I'm not a fan of this sort of thing. I'm not going to play along with it because, one, you can't even do it and be truthful about it. If you did it real and you kind of had fun, I like a lot of these people that do Trump. I think they can be awesome. But they're also real about it. You're not real about it. So if you wanna come back, something else. You're not gonna be a fake Trump and oh. Wow, that's interesting. It's a fake name though, but that's funny. Jeremiah. Golden Spleen is the name authenticated with YouTube. You want to come back? You can come back. Okay. We kicked you out. I didn't recognize the spillover. It sounded, it's a great voice thing, but do you know who it is, Dedan? I didn't recognize the voice. I didn't hear enough of it. Yeah. Dude's a goof. He's back, but again, I'm not going to bring you up with Donald Trump as your name because that's just not who you are. And so pick something else and come back. I'm just going to kick you out. If you come back up with Donald Trump, what I will do is I will just ban you from the studio, and then you won't be able to get up under any name under that account. So, World Economic Forum is pissed. Oh, I bet they are. I bet they are. You got to come back with name G. Yeah. Edward, do you think it's funny when like Al and the rest of the left-wing nuts go into their panels and they act like they're somebody else? And I heard one stream they were doing Tommy Tatum. Now, I'm not a fan of Tommy Tatum. I got nothing against Tommy Tatum. But like, if your entire shtick of hating on your political enemy involves having to be deceitful, lie, misrepresent, who are you? Like, who do you think you are? And how do you think you're on the right side, whether you're left or right, if you have to be deceptive and do that? I don't, meanwhile in China. Yeah, I can't think of I love comedy, G Abbott. I absolutely think comedy is hysterical. Disingenuous, lying comedy isn't funny, right? Because what it shows is your level of TDS typically, right? Your level of, it makes you look stupid. If you're not a smart enough comic to use reality, use true things to attack your political opponent, like, you're not good to begin with, right? You're not talented. Here, Felio said, John Earl Sullivan filmed Ashley Babbitt's shooting. He was a live streamer, and he threatened to burn down, and he got released with bail. And he did end up going to jail, though. He did end up in jail. Now, I don't know if he was still there when the pardons came out, because I would imagine he was pardoned, but he was not held like the rest of the J6ers were, which was interesting because his actual body of work would show that he was just as much of a threat based on their accusations of why they needed to keep these guys in jail. He should have been there too. So I did find that interesting. And others wondered about that. Godzilla says he was a plant. Godzilla, why do you think John Sullivan was a plant? What makes you think that he was a plant? I'm curious. You're missing the point. It's not about taking it seriously. It's about the delivery of the jokes and the comedy. The jokes aren't funny if they're not based on reality. If your political derangement, your TDS is so off, it's like Jimmy Fallon the other night. What was it? A couple weeks ago, getting out and doing his thing. His jokes were about things that weren't true, made up liberal bullshit hoaxes, and he came out and he tried to do a bit, and he wasn't funny. It falls flat because it's not funny. It's not true, right? So that's the difference. You can make fun of people and be comedic. You know, the roasters are hysterical because there's truth to what they're roasting, but it's done in a way, whatever. We have a two-party system in this country, G. We have to have two parties in this country. Right? You would agree with that, I would imagine, G? The G actually makes a great example here. And this is not my thinking. This is somebody else brought this point up. A comedian, in fact, is that you have a one-party system in California. California is run by Democrats. There are no Republicans, right? They try, but LA is run by Democrats. California is run by Democrats. They have no one that pushes back against their decisions. So you end up with fire hydrants empty. You end up with, you know, fire safety that is not being taken serious. The decisions that are being made is there's nobody pushing back against the ideas and the policies that these people have that go, whoa, wait a minute. We can't take this, reservoir offline for 3 months because then we can't fight fires because we won't have enough water, right? Plan for the worst, hope for the best sort of is one of those things. So it definitely is that. But let me find Hagerstown happenings. And I'll pull this up here. Oh, there it is right there. So I got to add this to my screen here. Give me 1 second. We'll pull this up. This is an interaction that happened. Top screen present. Lot of buttons you got to push to get a damn screen up on the window. Window. Let's try this. Okay. Hello. Okay, pause this. Can we pop this out? So this is at one of our local sheets. Somebody posted this up. from one of my favorite accounts called Hagerstown Happenings. It's where all the fun local news pops up. And the comment section is always one of my favorites. This is why we can't have nice things. This is why my underwear is locked up at Walmart now. Amy Reese says, this is ridiculous. I would have snatched him up. No sense in this behavior. So the reason this is getting shared is because there was another thing that happened 2 days ago, a day or so ago. Let's see if we can find it. This might take a minute. Come on. Okay. I wonder if somewhere I have like saved videos. Somewhere I have saved videos. I have no idea how to pull those up. I should know how to pull those up. Click the menu. Post. Video. Shopping. No. I wish I knew where saved videos were located. That would be really helpful right now. Because I did save it. But the YouTube algorithm. Come on. Oh, here it is. So this video.
Why is that nigga? Is he working?
So this video. So there's a lot to this story, which is kind of interesting because most people saw this video first. Let's find out here. Let's go bigger there. Actually, if I go this way, does that work? No. That's interesting, though. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's me inside the... Okay. Let's see here. Continue watching while you browse Facebook. I don't want to do that. Oh, I see. Because it doesn't like that either. Okay. Can I present this in some way? Okay. It is what it is. I wish it was nicer to look at than that, but it's gonna be. So this is filmed inside literally our newest Sheets in town. This one is by the Pennsylvania Dutch Market, which is one of my favorite places. And this Sheets just opened a few months ago. This is the newest one in town. And so this happened. This happened. Watch.
Why is that nigga? Is he working? Bro, is he working here? He doesn't work here! Oh shit.
So you gotta pull your pants up if you gotta run like that. You can't get away. So that's what was going around. This girl's laughing. It's pretty funny. So what? Like you think about it. That's the story, right? You go, oh well, what big deal? And he's behind the counter stealing some packs of cigarettes, helping himself out, right? Well, apparently there's more to the story. Let me go to Hagerstown Police Department Facebook page. Dispatched Halfway Boulevard. No, that's not the right one. Let's see here. Oh, here it is right here. Let's see. Can you pop these out? No. So that one there. Come on. Let's see if I can blow this up a little bit. You can't zoom in on it. Oh wait. No. It won't. Oh, there it goes. Hagerstown Police Department. This was January 27th, 10 p.m. This guy, 27-year-old of Hagerstown, was arrested on January 26th. So this happened the night of the 26th for the theft of a 2014 Dodge Avenger. He doesn't have very good choice of vehicles, but anybody remember the Dodge Avenger? It's a car. It's a vehicle, right? And a robbery at Sheets located on 191 Eastern Boulevard North. Blizzard opened the door of the Dodge off the unit block of East Avenue. By the way, our streets here have the worst names, and they change from block to block. And so anyway, Eastern Boulevard, I was reading chat. He opened the driver's door and ordered the two victims out of the vehicle. While there was no known weapon involved, the occupants feared there might be one. Blizzard got in the driver's seat and took the vehicle to Sheets, where he went behind the counter ordering employees to open the registers. Blizzard took nearly $900 in cash, along with 2 packs of cigarettes. So that's where we caught up with him. He had taken the money out of the cash register apparently already, and then helped himself to just a couple packs of cigarettes. Fascinating. Officers located the stolen vehicle at a gas pump and then observed Blizzard exiting the store. Blizzard saw officers and attempted to flee. That's where we saw him holding his pants, but was quickly apprehended. He was transported to the Washington County Detention Center, where he was held without bond. Blizzard is charged with the following: robbery, motor vehicle theft, $1,500 to under $25,000. theft $100 to $1,500, and rogue and vagabond. That's a new one. What is rogue and vagabond? I know what a vagabond is, but like that seems like an odd charge to me. I don't recognize that by any means. Who's Mary and what's going on? Oh, there's Mary. Oh, Mary, that sounds great. 3 acres is a good size. I feel like I need a little bit more size than that. I need 5 minimum. 5. I want to be able to ride my dirt bike, do some stuff. I got to have room for, some farm, right? I've been missing the chat. You guys are great. Yeah, so crime is out of control here in Hagerstown. But I guess would you say that's sort of small town crime? We haven't had a shooting in, I don't know, a couple days. 17-year-old kid was arrested. What day was that? I'm trying to remember. I think it happened on the 18th. 17th. He was arrested on the 18th. Let me see if I can find that. Homicide suspect arrested. No, that's different. It's January 24th. Oh, see, I was wrong. So we did have a homicide. Thursday, January 23rd, 2025 at approximately 1:30 p.m. Manuel Ernest, he's 33-year-old, was taken into custody in Yonkers, New York by the United States Marshal Service. Gordon had an active arrest warrant for the murder of Rusty Edwards that occurred on July 18th in the area of 208 East Washington Street, Hagerstown, Maryland, from July. So the arrest just happened for this shooting in July. I had missed that. But then this one happened. So pop that out. No. I'll just do that. That'll work. So on 1/17/2025 at about 11 p.m., an officer, so 11 o'clock at night, an officer in the Jonathan Street area heard gunshots. At the same time, our emergency communications center started receiving calls from citizens also believing they heard shots fired. Officers responding to the scene located shell casings in the area of Summons Avenue and Wheaton Park. This is Summons Avenue and Wheaton Park is part of the Hagerstown Housing Authority. They have several different neighborhoods around town. Notably, they are full of cameras. Not a good place to commit any sort of crime, as we're going to see here. There were no victims and nothing was struck. Using city surveillance cameras, officers were able to identify vehicles and persons involved. Let's see here. to finish reading this off screen. Just because. The investigation revealed that the shooting was a dispute between people on scene who are known to each other. Apparently there was, and this isn't in here, but apparently there was the day before in Frederick at the high school, there was a stabbing that occurred. And I would imagine that this was retaliation for that. Because the young man who was age 17 of Frederick, Maryland, was taken into custody at Tuscarora High School without incident with the assistance of the Frederick County Sheriff's Officer. He was taken to the Frederick County Detention Center where he was charged as an adult. He was subsequently transferred to the Washington County Detention Center where he is currently being held. He is charged with the following: 3 counts first-degree assault, 3 counts reckless endangerment, firearm use in course of a felony, handgun on person, loaded handgun on person, handgun in vehicle, loaded handgun in vehicle, possession of firearm prohibited, illegal possession of ammunition. They say this remains an ongoing investigation, and anyone with information is asked to contact officers at LA Hagerstown PD. So this happened in one of our housing developments, City of Hagerstown Housing Authority housing developments. And it's just kind of sad. But so just catching up on your messages here. Anyway, this is about how I'm feeling right now. I could do this. Can you guys hear that loud enough? Because it was really loud on the stream. Just want to make sure you get the full effect. That's not healthy. I am guessing that's why she makes him go sleep up in the mountains. Gra. Come on now. Yeah, the problem is, he took it down. He took it down. It literally was just a stream of him sleeping. So, all right, you guys, it's been fun. I appreciate you being here. I can't believe we were so privileged to have Donald J. Trump show up and act a fool. Who would have thought that was going to happen today? I bet you he goes to all the panels. Then buy me my riddle merch. Okay, that's fine. That's funny. All right, that's been fun, y'all. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate the support. Thank you so much. Later, everybody. Wizzy out.